set?
Oh, great.
Okay. Good evening, folks. Welcome to the Board of Selectmen's meeting, October 2nd, 2017. If you would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks again for coming this evening. In non-public under 91A:32C, we talked about reputation. We have for birthdays this month, our very own Nick Marique. Happy birthday, Nick. He's in the back, so if everybody wants to steer at him for a couple of seconds.
He's in pink.
He is in pink. We have Noreen Nason for police. I think she's here tonight? No.
Today is her birthday. So.
Okay. Well, very good. Well, happy birthday, Noreen. We have Sam Morrill from the fire, Roger Moulton from highway, George Stevens from the police, and we also have Dawson Libby from the fire department. And I just want to wish all these folks a happy birthday and thank you for their services. It doesn't go unnoticed. On the other side, unfortunately, for deaths, we have Donald Falkenham, and I also would like to have a moment of silence for all the folks in Las Vegas. So if we could just bow our heads for a quick moment. Thank you. Thank you very much again. So up on new business, it's an exciting night because we are going to be swearing in a couple of new police officers, and they're, fortunately for them, they're up first on the agenda. So if they would like to come forward.
So I'd like to introduce everyone to two of our newest members of the department. Devin Peju. Many of you guys are not going to need to be introduced to Devin. He's been with the town since 2002 as a member of the Milton Fire Department. He currently holds the rank at the fire department as assistant chief. And we are glad to have Devin on with us because it'll be a huge benefit to the police department to have his knowledge and life safety skills as well as in the fire field. He'll be able to take back the skills he learned from the police department to the fire department to assist them when they are going into calls that, unfortunately, like we saw in Nevada, the fire department has to come into a lot of those calls with us. So Devin will be able to take those skills back. He'll also be able to take the laws back when dealing with fire issues and things of that nature. This is Ryan Clark. Ryan comes to us from the civilian world, but he does hold a master's degree in criminal justice. Ryan is we'll call him a seasonal resident of the town of Milton. His family owns a camp here in town, and he spent a large amount of his childhood here in town on the lake. So we are very proud to have both of them. Devin's currently in the part-time academy, and Ryan will be going to the full-time academy in December. Just one.
So if you both will raise your right hand. So both of you, I state your names.
I, Devin Pejo. I, Ryan Clark.
Do solemnly swear that I will faithfully and impartially discharge and perform all duties incumbent on me as a Milton police officer according to the best of my abilities, agreeable to the rules and regulations of the Constitution and laws of the state of New Hampshire, United States of America. So help me God.
I do.
Congratulations. Thank you so much. Right.
Congrats, fellas. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're going to have one of their family members come up and pin their badges on them. Here's your opportunity to stay. Be nice.
Very nice. I get to hug him?
If you want. For everyone who wants to get to know them a little bit better, you see us out on the road, any of us out on the road, stop, have a conversation with them. It's good for us to know our residents and our residents to know us. Thank you all.
Thank you, Richard.
Thank
What? What?
You guys want a picture with
No. Yeah.
Oh, very nice.
Well, we got a lot of blue and red now, don't we?
All right. So, is the chief, he's coming back in?
He's coming back in.
Okay,
I'm probably doing pictures.
okay.
Want to
So,
do Sean?
Want to do the next one?
okay, yes, we can skip down to, next on, we're gonna just skip one because the chief, are you back in, chief? Okay, so next up, on the agenda is, Aaron, now don't, forgive me here with this name, is this you folks?
Yeah,
Yeah, what's your last name?
it's HR.
Okay, well, there you go. They have a petition to close Dawson Street for Halloween night. So, you know, I got your petition. If you'd like to say something, we have the chief here, and we'll discuss it. But the floor is yours if you'd like to.
Sure. Well, we moved to Milton in 2015, and we love the area and whatnot. The only thing that we really had a problem with was on Halloween night, we had no idea what to expect for our children. And it seems that they all come on our street and in our area, and the traffic is horrendous at night. Cars are speeding up and down. There's a bunch of kids on the sides of the roads crossing and whatnot.
Last year we had 2 incidents where kids almost got hit last year. So we're hoping.
So, you know, we're trying to see if I'm a member of the Great Bay Amateur Radio Association. We do traffic control. We do things like this on occasion, parades and stuff. And we like to see if we can get the road closed for even 4 or 5 hours that night, just to accommodate kids trick-or-treating. We kind of like to start there, and if need be, see what happens. But for that, 5 hours, we'd like to see if we can get the road shut down on both ends. All we would need would be the approval, I believe, for it. We could handle the actual blocking locations, if you will. I've got many club members that are willing to help out. I think we've done as much as we can. We just need to get the approval for it before we can actually move forward.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I appreciate you bringing that to the selectmen's attention. Chief, what is your recommendations here? What is?
My recommendation would never to have a civil entity shutting down one of our roads without an insurance binder protecting the town and the other residents of the town from any civil liability that may come out of one of their flaggers who may not be New Hampshire State Flagger certified to be directing traffic. And in a situation such as that, they would need to be Flagger certified. If they're not Flagger certified, then the liability would ultimately, if the town approves it and it's a town-funded event, the town could hold that liability. If this is not a town-funded event, which is what it's sounding like, the liability would have to fall on someone other than the town because it is not a town-funded event. So they would have to have first of all, some type of insurance binder. protecting the town from that civil liability.
Okay.
I think you're gonna open yourself up to a can of worms as well if you allow one road to be shut down for trick-or-treating.
Mhm.
There's, Milton Mills has heavy traffic of both foot traffic and motor traffic during Halloween. The Mills, the village of the Mills has a ton of traffic in there. We try to put 2 officers on during that period of time that there is trick-or-treating, so that way we can cover one officer in this section of town and the other officer in the Mills, trying to curb any issues that we may have, both from the trick-or-treaters, from vandalism, from people crossing roads, and from the motoring traffic.
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt, I mean, we can only do what we can do with the staff we have, and you guys do a great job, so, any,
Yeah, so I hear Richard's point. It's just a shame that we as a community, small town community, we kind of get away from small town community actions, like closing a road for an event for a certain amount of time. It seems that we've entangled ourselves with liabilities that are beyond our control. And it's a shame. I mean, what times were you thinking? I mean, were there a designated time you were thinking about closing it down?
I think trick or treat is between the hours of 5 and 8, typically.
Okay.
I was gonna kind of get people together a little bit early and.
Right. Well, that'll obviously create more traffic on roads trying to get around that. Correct. Too?
Correct. You're not only going to have to shut down Dawson Street at 125 on both ends of Dawson Street, but you have to shut down Mill Street, you have to shut down Steeple Street so that people are pushed down School Street. You also have to shut down Silver Street, either at Remick or at Steeple Street. So you're shutting down a whole lot more roads, and you're going to have to figure out a way to shut down Elm Street so that way the traffic has the ability to turn around and go back out the other way.
We were actually thinking about not shutting down Elm Street.
At all, or Mill Street.
Letting cars come through and come through Mill Street.
And Silver is right out of it. We're not even, the areas that we were hoping to block off would be Dawson on this side of Steeple, Silver. Steeple on the side, or on the Dawson side of School Street. The other end, obviously, or this end, actually, of Dawson. And then we had people on each side of that little,
Dawson around Mill,
Yeah.
Mill to.
from Mill to
Elm Street.
Elm Street, so that we can kind of like stop the kids when we see traffic going, and then just kind of walk them through when it's clear.
I think a better use of their services and the people who are going to be with them would be to assist the children across the intersections. So if that's part of their worry, and they're in vests and they have big flashlight wands, they can help the children near the crosswalks, they can help the children cross the different roads at the different intersections. I think that's a better ability than shutting down complete roads for 5 hours.
Okay, 2 more things. So, are you going to have any more increased patrols on that night, Rich?
I'm going to put 2 officers on during the Halloween trick-or-treat issues.
Thank you.
So
So in light of what
it's-
Rich has said about a private entity having insurance for that night, are you people prepared for
We
something
have
like that?
a $1 million insurance policy,
You do?
yes.
Naming the town as additional insured?
Hmm?
Naming the town as additional insured.
We can, yes. We have done that in the past.
Who is we?
The Great
The Great
Bay
Bay
Radio
Radio
Association.
Are you familiar with that?
I'm not familiar with it.
Well, maybe it might be a good idea now to have legal take a look at their insurance binder. I mean, that was part of your suggestion, right, Rich? If they had,
To take the liability off the rest of the town.
right?
If they're directing traffic, though, the people directing the traffic have to be flagger certified.
Are they flagger certified?
I'll have to do more research into that.
Nick, do you have any input on this?
I agree with Rich. I think who knows where it's going to go from here if you shut down Dawson. In my mind, having trick-or-treated in the last several years with several kids, I know the concern is there. I don't disagree with that. But it's more than just Dawson Street. Crossing 125 is the biggest concern that I have from Mill across to Charles Street. As far as the liability, I mean, that's, you would know more about that than me, but, and same thing with Milton Mills, that's a definite concern of that area too. I don't know, where does it end, I guess is my question.
Right.
Because if I was going to shut down Dawson, I would shut down that whole neighborhood, if that's the route you were going to go. And you can't do that because people are coming home from work at that time.
Well, exactly. You took the words right out of my mouth.
The crosswalk idea, I don't think, if you can square out the logistics of it,
Yeah.
I think that's a better idea.
Chief, do you have, you know those barricades that you could stick a blue light on the top? You don't have any of
The police
those?
department doesn't have barricades. We borrow the barricades from the highway department, and the highway department doesn't have the blue lights to put on.
No, I was just curious if you had a couple of those barricades where, if you had a couple of those.
Our staffing is so small that if we have to shut down a road, we do it with a cruiser.
Right. Let me just throw this out there. I know you're going to bring an extra guy on, a couple extra guys. I mean, is there any way that, and I'm not, I mean, because it wouldn't be fair, I mean, the whole town trick-or-treats. I guess it really comes down to, because I actually take my grandson and take him and trick-or-treating. So I just don't let him just go off by himself. And I'm not insinuating any of that, of course. But, I mean, is there any way that you could maybe just pick up the patrol just in that area just a little bit more than, say, if you were to go up Tenerife, because there's going to be no one trick-or-treating up there?
Well, we don't send the officers up Tenerife. Most of the time, the officer who is on this side of town is usually sitting at the old fire station watching the crosswalk on 125 that goes between 125 and Mill Street that should also connect to Dawson Street.
Okay.
The officer will go up through the school zone, he'll do Silver Street, he'll do Dawson Street, he'll do all of those areas. But he'll also check through downtown because there are some kids that go through downtown, some go to Cumberland Farms and things like that. There are also kids on Elm Street and a lot of cars on Elm Street, a lot of cars on Silver Street where the kids are getting out of the cars and running from house to house. So the officer is checking that entire area, and then the other officer, like I said, is also doing Milton Mills. But we also have the St. James area, the Pineland Park area, and the Townhouse area where there's a ton of both foot traffic and motoring traffic that those officers have to cover that position as well.
No, I'm just trying to find a mutual, agreement here, or some sort of fairness where this would work for everybody.
I can look at my staffing ability, and if I can bring in more than just the 2 officers to staff that evening, then I'll try to bring in more officers to staff that evening.
Okay.
Obviously, we only have 5 cars, so at max it'll be 5 officers out of the 6 we currently have available.
Right. And what if you were to get some of the folks, because I did read the petition, what if you were to get some of the folks that were on that petition to, get the flashlights with the orange cones on them, and maybe, the people who live on that road could, step up and help the youngsters. It's for 2-3 hours. But
Yeah, we do that. If I may, I can understand the actual concern with it. We're willing to work with whatever we need to, to help the kids in the area. I know the police department does an awesome job, by all means, and we would like to work together to come up with a resolution for it. I do like your idea, if we could do something with helping the kids cross 125, that would be good, and we may be able to just kind of walk up and down like Dawson and the area and kind of see if we can help them out. that would be better. I get totally what you're saying. But this idea was brought to us, and we thought we'll go ahead and run with it. The worst thing is we make it known, and we can work on a
No, I mean, I definitely, I see your concern, and I'm a parent and a grandparent, and I understand what you're saying, and you know, I want to work with all you folks. It's just I do understand what both chiefs are saying, that it would be tough to shut down that road. I mean, so
can I just?
Yeah, definitely.
So I hear everybody's concern. I just want to thank you guys for putting this together and coming in and proposing it, because it's hard to get people involved, and it's great to see that you came up with an idea and you put it in front of us, and we definitely need more of that. And I'm hoping that we can work together in the future and on this. I hear everybody's concerns, and I think I agree with the chief about liability issues, if that is a concern. I mean, we're here to look out for liability of the town. So I think that if we can all work together to come to the resolution of you guys assisting kids crossing the street, and my concern also with if we start shutting streets down, it's going to set a precedence, and where do we stop? So sounds like the rest of the board feels the same way. But again, I just really appreciate you guys putting something together and coming in front of the board, because it's nice to see new faces and more people getting involved, because we need a lot more of that and more teamwork to move the town forward.
So let the record show that once you get this plan together, I'll volunteer my time between that time to be one of the flaggers.
Okay.
I want to carry one of those cones.
Flashing light.
So, I'll get a card for you. You can have my number, okay?
And we can actually post a meeting, and I'll do the same, and we can post a meeting for that night.
Don't you want to take your grandson?
Yeah, well, he can go trick or treating around the area.
We also have
It'll be good
some
for him.
older girls that is willing to take anyone who volunteers, take their younger kids out with them. So if you want to bring your kids or grandkids, we have a 17-year-old and a 14-year-old that has volunteered to help anyone up and down the road, so that you can be at a station or however we decided.
Okay.
You know, it'd be nice, Mr. Rawson, if it was an entire board that night. Wouldn't that be nice?
Are you guys all going to dress up?
That's part of the criteria. You have to.
Yeah.
So just got suckered in, Ryan.
We'll post a meeting anyways on that Halloween night. We'll post a meeting, and we'll come out and assist that area. So is that fair enough for now? And cause I don't want to discourage you folks, and I appreciate it, like Ryan was saying. So
no, that was one of the contingencies, if you will.
So what we're talking about Halloween, if you don't mind, I had this on for my selectmen's agenda, but as the town administrator is over here nudging me, but I was going to talk about it. But the town is doing a trunk or treat. We do it every year at the Milton Town Beach on the 21st of this month. And the rain date will be the 28th, and it's from 5 to 8. There's a trunk or treat contest. There's going to be pumpkin decorating contest. Plenty of goodies to go around. So flyers will be circulating around town and on the website by the end of the week. Karen is just getting this all together and ready to go here. And if there's any volunteers that want to do trunk or treat to hand out candy, I always do it. I love it. Just contact Karen Brown and let her know that you're interested in doing trunk or treat. I know Karen's looking at you like, oh, I'd love to do that, Andy. So that's great. Thanks, Karen. But so if anybody's interested, that'd be great. If you want to get your car into the town beach and hand out candy. It's another safe night. It's in the beach. It's all blocked off, and we have a blast down there. So That'll be on the 21st of this month, from 5 to 8. So that's an option. All right. Well, thank you, folks. So, up next is Sean Perot, request of the Board of Selectmen Grant Budget Committee, the request to receive fiscal information in the PDF and the CSV format. The floor is yours, Mr. Perot.
You said it with such enthusiasm. So this is kind of like closing the loop. I think there was a couple of selectmen meetings we had before when we discussed it. You said to go back to the budget committee, figure out what, as a committee, we wanted to do. We passed the motion 7-1 to formally request, not demand, that the forms come to us in the PDF and the CSV format. Just wanted to kind of close the loop and see if you guys were amenable to that.
Okay.
Yep, I'm good with it.
You good?
I think we,
What do you think, Mike? You good with it?
Yeah.
Okay. So, go ahead. Do you need a motion for that?
I'll make a motion
Okay.
that,
Motion has to happen.
Okay.
Know that it doesn't take much to change that over, correct?
Mm-hmm.
There's not a lot of time involved. That was key
There
to this
shouldn't
whole
be,
thing.
yeah. There should not be.
There shouldn't be. It's a little bit more involved with the system that we have as opposed to the system the school has. And that's one of the key factors that we have to ask Joanne about. Can be done, but it is, one of the things that everyone keeps saying is the school, it doesn't take as long. Well, it does take longer because of the municipal system. It can be done, but it does take longer than the school. That's one of the questions.
How much longer, though?
No, it's not earth-shattering, but it is a little bit
Well, I mean,
long.
5 minutes, an hour, 3 days?
Not 3 days. It's a little bit longer. She said to me, depends. The other thing is we've had new staff doing it.
Right.
The person, Vanessa, can do it. She's been recently trained on how to do it, but at first she wasn't trained on how.
Okay.
It's not that it can't be done. It's not that she's not willing to do it, but she needed to be trained to do it.
Okay.
And I don't think anybody's unwilling to do it, but
All right, so we have a motion on the table.
I'll second it.
The motion was made?
yeah, well.
Okay,
we're gonna
you second.
make it.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Ryan, with your motion.
I'll make a motion that the Board of Selectmen grants the town to give the budget committee fiscal information in a PDF and CSV format.
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you, folks.
I was just trying to clarify the question against.
No, we appreciate that. So up next is Tom McDougall. He has 2 items. Following up the permitting on the rock wall drafted on 6/22/17. So the floor is yours, Mr. McDougall.
I had requested back then if you look into the process that caused that issue to begin with, and I haven't seen any outcome from that. I'm just asking what has been done to help correct it so that we reduce the likelihood of this happening and causing liability to the town in the future.
Sure, so I know that the code office has been doing some work on that, and one of the documents that they just came up with, like, they see, being a small community, the code officer would go up and make presents to any reported work going on that wasn't supposed to, either assist disease or a stop work order. So they started developing, they make, like you requested, to make our process better. So they've come up with a new document, and I've got one for you as well, Mr. McDougall. I got one for Ryan. And the top page is a stop work order.
Yeah, you don't I just wanted to make sure it didn't get got. We don't have to
No,
go
it's
through the
not.
whole
So-
process
so-
now. I just
It's not a big
because I hadn't
process.
heard anything about it.
It's
Just
for
want to
you-
make
it's-
sure that,
Yeah.
you know, that it is being followed up on. And
It's for your reading pleasure.
Excellent. I was looking for something to do tonight.
The documents that follow that are right out of the code book, which are the duties and powers of the building official. And it goes through everything from the permit process, stop work order, and all of the duties that involve the code officer. I know that the code department has been working on a process to document the process.
Yeah. Okay.
I know that when he receives an application, he has up to 2 weeks to issue out, either issue out or deny permits. And part of that process is to make sure that everything's in place. He has all the documents he needs to make a sound judgment. So, and I know that they're probably close to finishing up on that. But it follows close to the ICC.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that it hadn't.
Oh yeah, no, it hadn't followed the facts.
Noise was made about the being liability. I just want to make sure we're closing the loop and.
Right.
Thank you, Tom. So up next again is Mr. McDougall on the publicly available site where the performance of the solar garden can be viewed. And I know I was talking to Heather tonight, and she sent you a link.
Yep.
And I just will say the link out loud for anybody else. I apologize.
It seemed to me that it was kind of long, had a lot of letters and numbers in it. But.
Okay. Well, I was just going to say it's just www.solarview.com. And really, I think will bring you to the link.
Yeah.
And then
I looked at it after I'd seen it, she sent it. That's the geek in me of just, hey, we got this cool array here. And actually what started me thinking about it was a friend of mine at work was asking about it. He had heard if you put one in here. And I thought, it'd be cool if we had something I could click on to show him, look, this is how many megawatts we put out in a month of whatever.
Yeah.
That was all. I'd asked Tom about it and then got busy painting the house and never got back to him about it.
Mm-hmm. So it worked out all right for you?
Oh yeah, it worked great. It was perfect. It shows you can look at like the month, day by day, you can tell it a date range and it'll tell you how much each day. You can see as you would expect it. At the beginning it was kind of the output was low. Summertime it jumped up high, starting to tail off a little bit now. It was really cool.
Nice.
Tells you by the hour if you click on the hour.
Yeah, it was updates like I think every 15 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
So
wonderful. All right, so you're satisfied?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Okay. Very good. All right. Thank you, Tom. So.
Did you see this? You interested?
Oh, it's on the solar guide. Okay, there you go. All right. So up next, we have Karen Globe for this discussion on the property tax map 41 lots 6811 and 6815. So the floor is yours,
I'm
Karen.
actually going to have Cynthia speak.
And Cynthia Wyatt from the
Well,
Conservation.
I've been working on this for up to 4 years, as you know. Mike was part of the site walk that we did, I think, 3 years ago with that board. And we are making progress.
Mm-hmm.
And we're here to talk to you about the progress that we're making and some of the recommendations that have.
Okay.
Which one's one, Heather?
Oh, good.
Okay. Yep, I have that one.
Thank you.
So, if you don't mind, I'll just point out what we're talking about here. So, this is the 73 acres.
Can you speak up, please?
Sure. I'm sorry, I wish we had a better way to show you all, but.
I'll hold it up as she shows us. So right here is 73 acres.
So in 2016, the town voted to place a conservation easement on that 73 acres. It was a very favorable vote, 638 in favor and 281 against. So, I think that is an indicator that Milton supports and appreciates conservation land. Since we had the authority now to go and find a land trust to hold the easement, we invited Moose Mountain Regional Greenways, which is a local land trust, to come and talk about the project. They did a site walk. They also came to a Conservation Commission meeting, I actually it was a joint meeting with the then Casey Road subcommittee, and we talked, just it was an informational meeting, and then about a month ago, the Casey Road subcommittee of the Conservation Commission met with Moose Mountain Regional Greenways in their office, and I think they had some really good suggestions about the tract. As you can see, right adjacent to the 73 acres is a defunct subdivision, and that is about 5.5 acres. And then
It's right here, if anybody can see it.
and surrounding that is also a town-owned conservation parcel that was it was owned by well, the developer of this subdivision donated a conservation easement to the town. Taxes were not paid by the homeowners association, so the town has taken that conservation piece. So Moose Mountain Regional Greenway suggested that we see if the town would support revoking this subdivision so that that defunct subdivision can become part of the project. So some of the compelling reasons to do this is, if you look at this map, this is highly erodible soils. So where this subdivision is very, very steep.
Mm-hmm.
The topography is not, it's not classified as steep slopes, which is 25% gradient, but it is steep and it is highly erodible soils. So as you can see, those highly erodible soils flow down towards the Lyman Brook and the Great Brook. So, you know, from a conservation perspective, it would be very wise of the town to not allow disturbance of that highly erodible soils. The monitoring agent that has walked this parcel has reported to us that there is a lot of erosion on the Class 6 road, and that we should really watch that because it does go right down towards Lyman Brook. That's another piece of this, is that this is a Class 6 road, so just keep that in mind, which means right now it's not buildable. Let's see, if we include this tract now rather than later, it doesn't add any additional cost to the project. If we added it later, it would, add significant costs. They also pointed out, which is a good, point, is that it would make this property easier to monitor. So when a conservation easement goes on a property and it is handed off to a land trust, it's their responsibility to monitor and forever. So that's a big responsibility. So we want to make sure that this parcel is fairly easy to monitor, and if you have that subdivision built out, that's potential for more encroachments, and we know about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, as I mentioned before, this part of Casey Road is a Class 6 road. It really makes the value of this subdivision, these parcels in this subdivision, not worth much because you can't build on them. We all know about the cost of community service studies in New Hampshire, show that residential homes typically cost towns more in services than the town takes in property taxes. So it's a way of avoiding costs to the town. And then again, the town voted very favorably to place this under conservation easement. So I think that we have town support for conservation. I think, if this subdivision gets revoked, we would have to have this go to town vote. So that the citizens of the town could support it or not support it, but it's ultimately their decision. But we're looking for your support and your input about revoking the subdivision on that parcel, on that 5.5 acres. And And then, you know, obviously, we're adding more acreage to the project. And it, you know, that whole parcel, it protects an important sub-watershed. Lyman Brook, Grape Brook, that flows into Spalding Pond. As we know, Spalding Pond is stressed, it has milfoil, so we don't want to add any more stresses. We want to protect our, you know, our watersheds. I think that's it. Do you have any questions for us about it?
No, I mean, I think at the end of the day, it's a win-win for everybody, and I think when this project is finally completed, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of happy people. I mean, I mean, I just took a walk out there this weekend, and it's so peaceful out there, and I just, you know, I'm excited about the project, and I appreciate all of your hard work. And
would you like us to update you a little bit about the buildings and structures that are on, or do you already know about that?
Well, yeah, because I did take the walk on Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? Yeah, Wednesday.
Well, our subcommittee, our Casey Road subcommittee is very fortunate that Justin has come on board and his, sits and gives us great advice, and he went on a site walk with Wayne.
With Andy. He went with Andy.
Yeah, Andy and Wayne.
Yeah, and Wayne, yeah.
And the fire department is getting a group on the next Saturday. Branch Hill Farm is going to volunteer our employee and our bucket loader to take down the structures, and it sounds like they're going to do a control burn of what can be burned, and then the rest will go into a dumpster.
Yep.
And
that I have talked to Pat today about, and he will get that down there by Friday.
yeah, so that's good progress. That's pretty big. I mean, the land trust, you know, does not want to have buildings, the liability of buildings, and on a conserved piece of property. So,
Well, in
so
these,
we're very grateful to you and your volunteers for offering to do that.
well, in one second, Peg, I will get to you. And these buildings are in very, very poor shape at best, so that they actually need to come down. It's a liability, so, you know, for the town too, you know, if anybody went out there. So that's great news that we'll get those down on Saturday. And, but I think this project is moving along wonderfully, and it's exciting, and before you know it, we'll have signs there and benches and kiosks and it's going to be wonderful. You know.
Bathrooms.
So what's that?
If I need to find you, I'll go up there and find you.
It's definitely a place where you'd want to go and clear your head, if just to walk around. It's great. You know, it's beautiful there.
It is a very lovely piece of property with high conservation values because of the you know, the eastern boundary is the river.
Right. So, and go ahead, Peggy, you had a
Yeah, I
question?
just wanted to say that we had a very wonderful presentation at our school board meeting because they wanted to know if we would be interested in having some sort of an educational whatever there, and yes. So we were 150% behind it, and whatever we can do, and volunteers, high school kids for cleaning or clearing or whatever, because they all need community service. And the only thing we asked for was a porta potty. Only because when you get to a certain age and the kids go out in the woods and go to the bathroom, I mean, in this day and age, not such a great idea. But so anyway, so yeah, no, we were really very pleased that they approached us. And
so I guess at some point we would like your endorsement or your...
Well, you have my 100% endorsement. I don't know about these...
The first step would be to revoke the subdivision, which we have to go to the planning board for that. But we wanted to start with you, to feel you out, and see if you had any questions, see if you generally support the idea, so that we can, when we do go to the planning board, we can say that we came to you and that you are favorable or not. about.
Well, again, I appreciate everything you do. I'm 110% in favor. It's just a win-win for everybody. So,
Yeah.
I don't know your thoughts, Mike?
Yeah, I know when we went on that site walk 3 years ago, those buildings were dangerous then. I can't imagine after 3 years what they look
Yeah.
like.
They're rough.
Is that the one where a selectman fell into the creek?
Yes, that's the one. Yeah.
No.
No, I think this is great. I'm all in favor of supporting it. Just gotta go through the proper channels to get there.
Yeah.
And I'm definitely in favor of it.
Thank you.
That's great.
So we can pass that on to the planning board when we go.
Most
and-
definitely.
And then
May.
that will be a next step
Yeah.
towards getting this done.
Mhm.
Super.
Super job, thank you.
Yeah. No,
Thank
this
you
is
all.
just another great, additive to the town of Milton,
Yep.
I
I think
So,
so too.
okay.
And,
Okay, anything else? Are you guys all set?
you're
Okay.
welcome.
So, up next, we have a policy discussion of the advertising of the sign banner at the town beach fence. And Dennis Wing put this agenda up. So there you go, Dennis, the floor is yours.
About 10 days ago, I came in to get information from either the town administrator or from Karen Brown regarding putting up banner, advertising signs, whatever, the fence line down here at the town beach, and never got an answer because neither one of them were here at the time. So I put in that request, and the next day Karen brought an application to Nancy's shop.
Mm-hmm.
So my initial question's been answered, but for a matter of public disclosure, you're more than welcome to tell us what process is to get the signs up there, and what that's all about.
Okay. Well, I do sit on the rec committee. I know this is a rec committee decision, this policy. We go through the policies every year. If anybody's interested in, putting a sign down at the town beach, I mean, you can go down and see Karen Brown, of course, but there is a contract. So you go through the contract. It's $150. All the signs are made right here in town. They're all the same size, so somebody doesn't get, so they're all the same size, and you just display your sign on the fence, and pretty much that's it. And then there's the contract is right here. It's a 4x4 cost. A 4x4 sign. It's $250 per sign for one season, and $150 per additional sign. So you get if you have more than one sign, you get a break. So I mean, pretty much that's the policy, and that money actually it goes into the recreational revolving account, which supports any recreational.
So, if I have a question regarding that, you brought this up to me earlier. I understand for the town wanting to understand, have some idea of what the content of the sign is, and I also understand why you want a certain size. Provided we were to meet those demands, is there any reason why we have to go through your contractor, or can we go through our own, have our own signs made, so long as they meet the size and the content? But
She said the 250 was the initial price to have the sign made.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure we could get it a lot cheaper for $250.
Well, I mean, that's something that you're going to have to go to the down to the rec, because the rec commission makes that decision, not the board of selectmen. And you could come to the next rec meeting, and you could ask the commission. I couldn't sit here and speak for that, but I think, yeah, I know, huh? I get myself in enough trouble. But anyways, I can understand why we use one particular place, and it's just, so everything looks the same, and, you know, it's a beautiful park down there, and it just makes it all look nice.
That's what I'm saying. I can understand you,
Yeah.
somebody wanting to have some final say on the content and your parents, I definitely
Mhm.
understand that. Also understand the side parameters, like
Right.
I just know we get it done cheaper elsewhere.
Right. No, yeah, no, if you want to bring that to the commission, the rec commission. So you have one of these contracts?
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be interesting to find out if they were asking the rec commission to have the sign made, that's what it costs. And not necessarily that you have to go through the rec commission.
Right. Well, I think they,
The question is choice.
right,
Yeah.
but, yeah, just come, yeah, talk to the rec commission.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, no worries. So, okay. Do you guys have anything to add to that?
Good night, Brian.
Are you all set, Mike?
I'm good. No.
Okay. So, next up is the approval of the minutes.
Have you guys had a chance to read them?
Mhm.
Yeah.
You all set with them?
Now, go to page 4.
This is clear enough.
Yeah, no,
Was
I'm all
it?
set.
Nick,
What?
your old credit card limit was 2,000 or was it 2,500? 2,500, right?
So, yeah.
So just a small correction. It says on
Yep.
page 5 where we increased it from 2,000 to 5,000 to go from 2,500 to 5,000. And other than that, that's it. That's all. Otherwise, and I would like to, now that we're on camera, have it noted that Brenda does a great job on doing all these minutes.
Okay. Yeah, no,
So,
I mean,
you ready? Good.
Yep.
Yeah.
You want to make a motion? I'll make a
Sure.
motion to accept the September 25th Board of Selectmen meeting minutes as modified.
I'll second it.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could you sign that page, please?
Sure. This one?
Where it says,
The
yeah,
back
the
page?
back page, it doesn't say that. Thank you, Mike, for signing that. Brenda will appreciate it.
What's all this? Just the minutes?
That's the minutes, not the old ones.
Okay.
They're gonna go to Michelle, because they don't
Okay.
say draft.
Is that it for the minutes?
Yep.
All right, so up next is the treasurer and the expenditure report.
Did you guys get a recent treasury report? I
Yeah.
didn't. She gave you one?
Yeah. Did you get one, Mike?
I have it.
Do you have one?
I had it, but
Okay. But you got one though?
I got one.
Okay.
I didn't.
Yeah, I did.
All
I
right.
do that one, yeah.
Oh, that's
Did
fine.
next one?
You can make a copy of mine after if you.
I don't think it was, I think it was just in the box separately.
When was it? What's the date?
No date. Oh, August.
Is that the one we're still? No, this is the, okay. It's usually, okay.
Okay. So that looks good. Do you have anything on the expenditure?
I just wanted to highlight, there was a lot of work done on this over the weekend, last Thursday. We did what we could, which I'll get to. There were some items moved. I'd like to highlight my postage line.
Mm-hmm.
Take a look at that.
Mm-hmm.
It's dropped. What happened was, instead of it being cumulative, it's now being reset. So that it's not jumping out at us as much.
Okay.
There were some other lines that there's been a lot of adjusting, correcting errors that have been made,
Mm-hmm.
and adjusting journal entries. The biggest one, we know there are 2 months missing from the WEX line. We're still working on. There'll be 2 months, I think it's May and June, that are not updated on here, but that should be done by tomorrow. So we're getting there, Mike. We really need it for budgeting purposes, if nothing else. But I'm happier that we're starting to make progress on getting these adjusting entries done. I was really happy to see that the postage line had dropped, just personally because of budgeting.
Well, it's nice to show the taxpayers too that, you know, the WEX works.
Yeah.
The
Well,
Wex does
the
say
whole,
this
the whole
one.
document too, they're working on it to try and bring it closer to accurate as possible. Prior to that, don't forget, Vanessa knew, I mean, she's getting settled in now with Joanne, slowly feeding her way off. So everybody's doing a good job, so we get a more accurate document for the taxpayers and for people who need to study it, like the budget committee.
Budget committee, department heads, everybody.
Yeah.
And I think one of the big things is, we can get it, handle on it month by month, but then you have to go back in and make the adjusting entries to correct it so that it's actually accurate. But, so we're getting there. So, but there was a lot of work that went into making these changes. So, and we're using it because everybody's working on their budgets except for the few people who actually finished theirs ahead of time. And, the star pupils, we'll call them, but they actually have their budgets in. There are a few department heads that have done that, so they don't have to. But everybody else is struggling getting theirs in.
Did the police department line get figured out?
It's 2 months. It's getting closer. There are 2 months that I know that I'm not on there.
Okay. You're up to $5,000, chief. So you're doing.
We're getting there.
Yeah.
$7,205.82.
So, like I said, 2 months.
He's a better man than I am.
That's why I keep pulling it. And I
Alright.
keep saying that because he gave me the figure, and I'm like, nope, it's not done yet. Nope, it's not done yet. And we had to make some adjusting entries with the insurance buyout. That too had to be fixed. So there was 2 things that had to be worked on.
Okay. How's that? Is that going all right? The insurance buyout?
And it's going all right, but it had to be fixed in the report because instead of it was coming through, and retirement was coming out of that, and that shouldn't be happening.
Okay.
So we're working on these.
Okay.
All these little
That's been rectified.
should be rectified now.
Okay.
All these little glitches, adjusting entries, and all that. The auditors are going to love me for all these adjusting entries next year.
Any questions, guys, on this? Or
No.
You all set? All right. Administrative comments.
Obviously, we've had a lot of activity in Town Hall. We are very pleased with the way things look. I think I mentioned it last week. Our highway, DPW, everybody worked incredibly hard. And that wall, the whole room looks very nice. It took them a lot longer than they initially anticipated. The floor looks great. Everything looks great. It just took a lot longer than people thought it was going to take. I think that happens with any kind of construction project, which meant that a lot of things happening in Town Hall got pushed back. We were without computers, or people were moved around most of last week. So even payroll got jumbled. We had to move around to do payroll. But everybody, I think, worked incredibly well together. Everybody was supportive of each other. And I was very pleased the way everybody came together and worked hard. So we're glad to be on the downslope of that. We're thrilled with the way it looks. I think Vanessa's very happy, our bookkeeper. But it's given us some space and some privacy. So just trying to finish that piece up and get going from there. Now we're in full budget mode. Some of the department heads may be putting signs on their door that says budget work in place, do not disturb. I've heard that from a few people. So be patient with people if you're trying to get a hold of them. They're really trying to get their budgets into me this week. I'm trying to finish up the last little bits on mine, but we're getting there. Again, we have a few department heads that will remain nameless that have already got theirs in, and that's great. So, but everybody's working very hard, and I think everybody's working well together at this point. We also, I think it's important when we have a business in town that passes their first year mark. The first year in a new business is tough, and a lot of times they fail, so I do want to congratulate Sentimental Resale on their first year in business, because that is a big deal. So congratulations on their first year in business.
Most definitely.
And I think that's all I have right now.
Okay, up next is Selectmen's comments. Go ahead, Ryan.
All right, I just got one. This coming Saturday, there's a townhouse bake sale, Saturday, October 7th, from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. and it's to support the restoration of the townhouse. So just wanted to get that out there for encourage anybody that can go to take a ride over there and get some goodies.
And there are goodies too.
Mm.
That's it.
Mike?
Okay, so, do you guys get a letter from Caledonian Carpentry?
Mm.
So, do you want to read this letter, Andy? Or just before you do that. So, I had asked the Budget Committee, one of their requests, and because Peg's here, it was actually her request, and I had gone at the same time, come up with an index for this expenditure report.
Thank you.
Which makes it a lot easier when you go and say, okay, assessing, oh, okay, it's page this, so it just makes it easier. I'll pass these out at the next Budget Committee meeting.
Thank you.
They won't come out, so you'll have to keep this at every meeting. Yeah.
What happens if it changes page?
Then we'll look at it then. I don't think we'll anticipate too many changes in it, but, okay?
Thank you.
All right, Andy, could you read that?
Sure. It says, Dear Town Administrator and Board of Selectmen, this is from Caledonian Carpentry. Thanks, Mike. So I'm writing to you to open up a dialogue about Ira Miller General Store. My wife and I have lived in Milton Mills for 17 years. We have watched the Ira Miller General Store, 4 houses from ours, go from a great little asset in the community to a very undesirable rental property. Drug house at one point, in parentheses, to an empty, crumbling building with our family now debt-free and our company thriving. We have approached the current owners about purchasing the building, not to patch up or flip, but to restore. My company, Caledonian Carpentry, Inc., is well-established business in New Hampshire with historic properties. As an example, we recently won an award for the renovation of the Lang Blacksmith Shop in Newmarket. Do you know where that is?
Mm-hmm. Looks very nice.
Very good. The building needs considerably work. In addition, we are under no illusion that we are in perfect location for a general store. In fact, we would be doing this for historic and aesthetic purposes and to better our community, primarily rather than as a highly profitable venue through we obviously seek a way to make it suitable and to pay for itself. Moving forward, we would like to seek the certain permissions from the town to support us in applying for a grant for restoring historic properties. In addition, we would like to assurance that the minutes from the Selectmen's meeting in 2013 investigating the Ira Miller as a potential toxic site has been resolved favorably. We would also be seeking to reinstall tastefully. Lastly, in preparation for this enormous undertaking, we would be asking for leniency on 3 to 5 years of property taxes, i.e. taxes waived or lowered, while we restore and reestablish the building. We love Milton Mills and feel that the proper renovation of this Ira Miller has the historic general store we elevate in the neighborhood and ultimately be an enormous asset to the community. I would appreciate a meeting to discuss this further. I can be reached on my cell phone at 603-556-0360. Thank you. Regards, Roy Darling is the owner. So, that's the letter. I know the building is in very poor condition and you know, it would look nice if it was, you know, fixed up to where I remember the building, you know, 20 years ago when I moved to town, because I remember when it was a store and it was a great little place to go into. Mm-hmm. It has that old feeling, you know, which is great if you ever been, you know, it's kind of like Caleb's. That's what that store kind of was like, you know. So,
that would be awesome.
Yeah,
so, I mean, I'm in favor
I
of...
didn't entertain the idea of having a meeting, but they'd have to also have the owners there too. Of course,
right.
'cause they'd have to entertain a meeting. I don't know if we can help them at all, but.
Yeah, I definitely would be interested in having a meeting and talking to them to see what they had in plan. I'm not sure how much we can do. I think Milton overall is in desperate need of historic buildings being saved, because I think we have too many that are going in the other direction. It'd be great to see that building fixed up and restored back to original condition. So definitely open to some open dialogue.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how much we can do, but definitely worth.
How about having them fill out an agenda request and have them come in and then invite the owners in too? Because there's a lot of pieces to what they're asking. They're not just asking one thing, they're asking multiple things if you read this letter. So at least have them come in, fill out the agenda request form and start there. And then figure it out from that step forward.
I would love to be able to work with them and figure it out. I mean, otherwise that place is just, you know, it'll be going into a dumpster if nothing, you know, else. So, and I wouldn't want that. So, yeah, no, I'm all for.
I'll call them, ask them to fill out an agenda request, and also ask them to have the owners come. Okay.
Wonderful. Thanks, Mike, for bringing that up. I didn't see it, but I didn't. Okay. Anything else?
Yeah, one last thing. I just found this in the corner over there. This is our American flag. And I think there's some history behind this. Someone had donated it, and I don't know who. If you could put a feeler out there to find out who donated this flag, I'd like to, at some point, if we get some information on it, they make an enclosure or a plaque for this that you can hang up. That would read something, but not knowing anything about it. I mean, it's just been sitting over here. There's no way to read our American flag.
No, do we know any? Does it say anything on the back?
Yeah, no. It just says the size. It just says the size. Ask anybody down inside the town hall here to identify that flag.
Okay.
All right. Sorry.
Yeah. No. Yeah. You can check into it. Maybe somebody.
Staff.
Yeah, you can check with somebody.
You know anything about that, Bob? No.
Looks like it might be a, from a casket.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Belongs to somebody.
Thank you. Okay. Anything else, Mike?
Nope. That's it. Thank you, Andy.
Okay. So I did mention the trunk or treat. Just again, real quick. That's the 21st from 5 to 8. If anybody's interested. And I know Justin. I meant to say Justin. He's so anxious. Look at him sit there. So, anyways, if anybody, we're looking for volunteers. The more, the merrier. It's fun. I do want to actually thank this guy right here, Bob. Look at me. No, he's here every week doing the video. The video one for the Board of Selectmen and probably all the meetings that I'm probably sure you hear most of them.
Just the school board.
Just the school board. But I can't thank you enough, Bob, because without you doing it, probably Tom would be up here doing it, and I know he's done it, and I want to thank him. But we just don't have the volunteers to do it, and these guys seem like they always pull through for us. So I appreciate, Bob, everything you do for us. And the other thing I just wanted to mention, now we have a nice beautiful wall out there, and we have all the boards and committees up there. I was thinking maybe like a nice picture on the very top of it, because it's kind of, it's great work, but. And I know, in town here, there's a lot of amateur photographers. So I didn't know if you wanted to maybe put out like a little contest of the best, amateur photographers could,
Excellent idea. Jeez. Excellent idea.
Are you being a wise guy?
No, I'm serious. No,
okay.
being serious.
I thought you were being wise guy.
All right. Seasonal? Can we change it seasonally so I'm not looking at snow in summer and flowers in winter?
Well, let's see. I was just thinking maybe we could get, because if you go on Facebook, there's a ton of people that take beautiful pictures of the 3 ponds, and I was just thinking that we could do a little contest, and then whoever won, we could have it blown up, and maybe put it in a little frame or something, and so we can have some nice pictures, you know.
Is that on the website?
Yeah, we can add it.
So,
All right, so
so
photo contest. Can we do first, second, and let me work on this.
okay.
So you got 4 seasons, so have 4
Yeah,
winners.
Definitely 4 winners.
Yeah.
4 winners, and then honorable mention,
I have a
maybe.
comment about that one. Not the
Okay.
pictures.
Okay. So, no, I was just thinking, because, I mean, the wall came out absolutely beautiful, and it just
Nice
would be
job.
some nice pictures. I mean, there's a place up there for a couple of different pictures, you know,
Well, that's
maybe.
what I'm
So,
saying.
anyways, yeah, see what you can do, Heather. Put that to,
Just ask me to take a
yeah,
picture.
run with that. Thank you.
I got an A in finance and a C in photography, so I'm not taking the
Okay.
pictures.
And
Kind of like my
I
driving.
think that's it. The library is in here. No.
What?
So, no, that's all I have. So, here we are at public comments. Who's up? Do you want Peg to go first, Bob? She's over here like, so...
She's gonna. She
Yeah,
wants
she's-
to go.
Well, because it's interesting. My first thing is you brought up the big cork board that's out there, and it really looks great, and I like your idea of the pictures. I love that. But as I'm standing out there, I'm thinking white on white with white. And I thought, you know what? A nice wooden stained frame around the whole thing would make it pop. I'm into popping.
You can talk to Pat about that.
But he's not here. Pat, where are you tonight? But no, it's just, I mean, it looks so nice out there.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but I did have another one. Do you mind, Bob, if I go? Continue going?
Go ahead. Keep going.
Thank you. I do want to say that I want to thank the Pink House. I don't know how many people went up this weekend for ice cream, but they were donating money. It was $1 a scoop, but they were donating money to end 68 hours of hunger, which really, I mean, I went in and thanked them, and, you know, threw some more money in the bucket, but it was a good thing. Pardon?
For a new business, that's outstanding.
Yep, for them to just donate until the ice cream is gone.
Is there still ice cream up there?
No, they're closed. They will be open in the spring, and I said, how about the end of February, okay?
It closed yesterday, right?
Yeah, yesterday was their last day. 8 o'clock last night.
Yep.
So, anyway, so I just wanted to make sure that people did know that they
You
did a
nice
great job.
this summer.
Yep. With, I mean, there's nothing worse than hungry kids.
No.
So, and I'm done.
Coleman made it down there for his extra large cotton candy.
They have good ice cream this summer.
Yeah.
They have good
Well, I got
lunches,
a big
too.
bucket of it, too.
Right, yeah.
Still in my freezer.
All right, up next, Bob Graham.
3 things. One, the governor is putting together a thing for donations to support Puerto Rico on tomorrow and Wednesday. So anybody who wants to make donations of non-perishable items, they're having a big to-do at the State House.
And if somebody wanted to donate, where would they bring the donations to?
To the State House.
To the State House.
Yeah.
Okay, no, that's great. I did see the governor shopping on the news,
Yeah.
so,
Now, he was up there Saturday doing all kinds of stuff.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, no, that's great, Bob.
Second thing, I don't know if you noticed, but the BFW donated a new flag for the town flagpole.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, looks nice.
I think.
Beautiful.
And the third thing, I'd like to thank you guys for all your efforts on getting the water in Veterans Park.
Well, you're welcome, and
And Charlie Montgomery and I are going to be there on Thursday, starting to spread the loom around, at least around the walkway.
mhm,
You know, the brick
mhm.
walkway that we put in. We're going to hold off on the rest of it until all the other work is done.
Okay.
Then we'll get that spread and seeded.
Well, we can't thank you veterans enough. So, thank you again.
That's like a.
Okay. Is that it, Bob?
Yep.
Okay, wonderful. Chief?
So, I don't know if the board members want to or are available, but we have one officer graduating from the DARE Academy on Friday at 11 o'clock at the Fire Academy in Concord. And we have another officer receiving an award on the 13th at 6 p.m. At the New Hampshire Police Standards and Training Academy. So if any of you are available and want to come, you're welcome. I know Town Administrator Tebow came last year for one of our officers receiving an award. And this year we have a current officer and a previous officer on the 13th.
What's the date on both dates?
The 13th
Yep.
is at 6 p.m. at the New Hampshire Police Standards and Training Council in Concord. And then on Friday the 6th at 11 o'clock at the Fire Academy.
13th you said was an award.
13th is an award, yep.
I think I'd like to go to that.
I went last year. It was a really nice ceremony. The one in Concord was a really nice
Get
ceremony.
addresses from you, okay?
Okay. You all set, Chief? That's it, okay.
One.
Go ahead.
You guys,
Miss-
we're only gonna get the speakers. I could barely hear you tonight.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, well, now the floor's all done. I'll ask Pat and get together with Heather and
I think we have, there's still another $1,500 left in that account.
We have the speakers. We just need to get them installed. I think once they've finally finished.
That's right too, we bought them like, what, a month and a half ago?
No, they've had them.
Yeah.
They've had them. The question has been, Pat said if his guys spent any more time down here, they'd kill us. Because, well, they wouldn't kill us, but he needed his guys back. So I need them to finish up what they're doing in the thing, and then I'll just do it in a new work order. Now that the carpets are in, the wall's done, I'll put a work order in.
Yeah.
Move on to phase 2.
yeah. No, if you don't mind, yeah, could you do that?
I'll put a work
'Cause
order in. I can't guarantee.
Put a work order in, and no, I mean when he can get to it. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not asking him to run down here tomorrow.
I gotta get him to put those. There's a
Day
couple of
after's
things.
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. You tell him that.
At least
You
put the
tell
work.
him.
We'll put the work order in,
Thank you.
and we'll move forward. Well, we were kind of waiting for the rugs to get done, and
No, I'm just saying that
Sure.
we had a hard time hearing out.
right. Yeah.
You could always move up to the front. There's plenty of seats. Everybody seems to migrate to the
You
back.
sat in those chairs.
I have many times in the past.
No, we'll work. We'll
Thank
get
you.
that going. Yeah. Anybody else? Okay, Heather.
I just wanted to recognize we had a young person in the audience tonight, and she's been exceptional. And it's very nice to see a young person in the audience who seems actually interested and attentive and involved. So thank you for attending.
So, are we all set?
I'm done.
Everybody all set? So, that'll close public comments. Any other business come before the board? And I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.